now I have Mr. Amitabh Mittal with me. He is the member of US-India Friendship Council. Mr. Mittal, thank you very much for speaking with us. And as we are talking more and more about this resolution, there is one question that every immigrant, or I would say every Indian American, has in the back of their mind is like, after hundreds of years after so long, why all of a sudden this resolution? What is the main reason behind resolutions like this, which are of, which just came out of nowhere? Is there a hidden, a hidden agenda behind it? So what is your take on resolutions coming out of nowhere, talking about another country? We would like to hear about your perspective.
Thank you so much for giving me opportunity to speak on the subject. So this is not all of a sudden, like most cities are finding out. It started last year in January in the U.S. Congress. A resolution sort of was brought in to the U.S. Congress, and talks similarly about the Citizenship Amendment Act that came out in 2019 November in India. Without really understanding the origins of the Citizenship Amendment Act, you amend something that exists. It is not something new. So this is an amendment to Citizenship Act of 1950, which was a temporary law allowing 5 years for the migration of populations between the British India, which was divided into 3 parts, East Pakistan, West Pakistan. East Pakistan today is Bangladesh. And the partition was sanctioned, approved by United Nations, was approved by the Premier of Pakistan, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, approved by the first Premier of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, approved by Mohandas Gandhi, approved by Lord Mountbatten. They all signed on it. They created this law that said the minorities who are non-Muslims can move from these parts to India, and the Muslims from India can go to Pakistan, and they will be granted citizenship rights immediately. But this was a temporary law. It was up for 5 years. I'm going into history. I don't want to go about that, but I want to talk about what is happening here. So that resolution that was brought into the U.S. House of Representatives was defeated because it had no value. It was proven that there is no support for this kind of resolution in the states or the citizens. We came to know that the Council of Islamic Relations in America took up the job, and they have an agenda to get frivolous support of 50 states, 50 cities for this resolution. They started with Seattle. Seattle Indian community very strongly opposed it, but because it's a small council of member council, which already had made up their mind, who were heavily influenced by CARE, which is funded by Middle East money. CARE, again, I would say a designated terrorist organization by United Arab Emirates, which is a Islamic country, since 2014, and continues to do so. They were able to get this resolution passed in Seattle. They were able to get this passed in smaller cities around the country, totaling about 7 now. Again, because the resolution is crafted so deviously. It starts off congratulating India, and it brings in the agenda as we are congratulating India, and the city's council members who do not go into detail of it get, like I said, swindled by it, and they pass the resolution, and then CARE goes out and says, hey, look, the city council in San Francisco, city council in Cambridge, city council in Seattle, city council in Minnesota, there was a huge protest against the resolution in Minnesota. It still passed again because there's a smaller group of people. You could not reach them in time, and they were swindled into passing this frivolous resolution. The CARE's agenda is very clear. They sent out an email, which we all received, and we have read it, that they want to get involved in disturbing the peace that has lasted here for a very long time between the Indian American communities. We've been living here with harmony for the past 50 plus years, and we have never had any issues until CARE brought this 16,000 kilometers or 8,000 mile away political agenda into the United States. And this is really, really not good for the Indian community, which has always contributed for the betterment of the United States from day one we've been here.
So, Mr. Mittal, is it like common? Do these do resolutions like these? Do they come out very frequently, or is it like after many years these resolutions come about?
So these resolutions come up all the time, congratulating a country on their anniversary, congratulating a leader of a country on their birthday, anniversary, whatever. But a resolution that starts with that and then goes into the negative tone is first time in the 150-year history of the City of Chicago Council that there is a resolution coming up that is against a duly elected government in India, not once but twice, and it's a two-third majority government in India. And their agenda is very clear. They started with CAA. They added other laws that are passed by the current government in India. The latest being the Farmers Bill, and the Farmers Bill is being praised by the World Economic Forum. It's been praised by the Biden White House, and it's all out there. So these people have an agenda of disturbing, interfering in the democratic process that is being followed in secular India. And that is going to disturb peace here as well as peace over there. Nobody wants to have political interference from 8,000 miles away. And that is what this resolution is doing.
So, as an Indian American community member here, what needs to be done? I'm talking about individual point of view. When everybody wants to do their bit, what is there that still needs to be done so that things like this do not happen in future, so that our kids' future is safe? And what needs to be done? I just want to get your concluding comments. Is like what needs to be done, and how far have we reached in defeating this resolution, so that we have an example set if something like this comes in future as well.
So what needs to be done is we have good relationship with all the aldermen in city of Chicago for a long time. What are Indian busy with? Indian population is busy in growing their kids with education, providing for them, providing for society, and making sure everyone's happy. That is what we've been doing. What we've lacked on, we missed on, I realize from this episode is educating our friends in the policy making arena about the history and what happened to India 74 years back. I think that history needs to be reminded to the city councils. The reasons need to be reminded. We never give them important because you never want to talk about bad things. You never want to talk about their bad experience. So you want to say, hey, it happened to me. I hope it doesn't happen to anyone, but I'm not going to talk about my misery. You share misery, misery begets misery, happiness begets happiness. So we always shared happiness. And I think sometimes you do have to tell your story of your sad stories. You have to tell your sad stories. I'm a son of a refugee. My mother came from Lahore. She was born in Lahore. She came to India a summer holiday, and then the partition took place. You living in a northern Indian winter in a 47 summer, 1947 winter, and you didn't bring any warm clothes with you. You're coming from Lahore, which is a warm place, and you are in the northern area, and you have to survive that winter at the age of 9, 10 years old. And my uncle was only a year old when their family was everything they had. They came on vacation. What do you take on vacation? You take 6-7 days worth of clothing, and that's what they had. Everything they had left behind. They could not go back home. So I don't want to go into those stories, but they're abundant of those stories.
So as Mr. Mittal rightly said, we need to come up and then create more and more awareness about India, Indian history, and so that we can tell what entails and what we have behind us, and then so that there is more information than just what is being said and created here under some hidden agenda. Mr. Mittal, thank you very much, and we wish you all the best, you and your team, and then of course we all are together in it, and we wish you all the best, and then let's get this resolution defeated.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
On that note, I would say stay tuned. We'll be coming up with more relevant issues, and I will see you guys again. Thank you very much. This is Prachi Jaitly signing off.
Why, Maria, why? Why, Maria, why? Why, Maria, why? Why, Maria, why? Why, Maria, why?